Okay, class, week 5, here we go. Comment on discussions. For the most part, you're really doing a really good job, as good as any class I've had. Some of you are forgetting to refer to the text, so putting some specific page numbers in to go back to the text will be good. Looking for a balance between what you've learned from the readings and how you relate that to your everyday work life. So that balance is what I'm looking for. But demonstrating that you do at least pick up the text and find some page numbers would be great. Also, someplace else, probably under the final paper, I'll have a video posted walking you through the directions for that. But those things have all been posted. So I'll just do one video today, so it'll be a little long, especially since we're covering 3 chapters. So I'm going to do my best to just hit some of the highlights. So, Chapter 8, Power and Social Influence. It's not a topic that we tend to think of as we go to work, but we probably do, at least maybe at a gut level, experience or process the concept of power. And power is a very real thing, even though maybe we hope that it isn't, but it is. And so in teams, it would seem to me that creating norms and approaches that share power as much as possible. In the end, somebody, if you've got a team leader, they're the ones that are responsible. So there is some power that it makes sense for them to have. But distributing power is a way to mitigate the negative impacts of having power concentrated in 1 or 2 places. So just something you might want to tuck away, and we'll see whether that's something that you chat about during your discussions. Levy talks about different types of power, and so it'll be good for you to hone in on that and get your arms around it and try to identify, for that matter, whether those are things that you can claim or say that you've seen. The dynamics of power, he does a really nice job about that, and then goes right into talking about empowerment. If you do empower folks, and that's your style of interacting or style of leading, then that speaks to shared power. When we empower others, we're giving them what they need to get things done and to have an influence. The other one, he talks about acting assertively, and we have some folks that we work with who do that all too well, actually a little too much. But if you're one who tends to hold back, I would commend this concept to your consideration, and also as team members, reaching out to others and encouraging them to act assertively and to and participate and offer their ideas. This really does line up pretty well with Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions. We talk about trust and conflict, and then commitment that comes as a result of that. But being willing to challenge others and to step forward with your ideas is really critical. Chapter 9, decision making. This is a norm, and it should be a written norm in your team charter, or just a group of norms that you guys have and modify and live by. But decision making is how are we going to make decisions? Will it always be democratic? Will we do consensus? Does the boss make the pick? Is it a blend of these things where we will always discuss all sides of an issue, but because the team leader or the manager is the one who's responsible for the outcomes, they end up making the call, but at least everybody had a chance to participate in the discussion and advance your line of logic about what a solution should make. And group decision making should be a process. I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that, except that one of the great outcomes, and again lining back up with Lencioni's model, is that if we're using a participative decision-making style, if everybody feels welcome to weigh in, and does so with some passion and challenge and those kinds of things. That starts to build commitment, and it makes people want to be accountable. And it also makes it easier for us to hold each other accountable. So that mutual accountability is a really great team dynamic. Talks a little bit about some decision-making techniques. I'll just offer those up for your review. I'm sure you'll find one in there that you prefer. Hopefully that matches with the decision-making process that you use in your teams. Maybe not, but tell us about that in your discussions. And again, remember, there are 3 discussions and no quiz this week. The chapter 10 on leadership, right away they talk about alternative designs for leadership and the whole idea about shared leadership, which I just mentioned. You'll see some recurring themes. There's a little bit of redundancy here between this and the decision-making chapter. Managing teams. One of the approaches to leadership they mention here that gets a lot of sway, a lot of play, and has been a strong model of leadership for a long time. I think Ken Blanchard is the one who initially put this out there. It's situational leadership. In other words, there are different ways of leading based on the situation. And that situation generally has something to do with the people who are involved in it as well. So spend a little extra time coming to understand the concept of situational leadership. I think you'll find it really beneficial, something that you can use, whether you're the official boss of a group or not. Just interacting with people, and you're allowed to lead from any place in the organization. That's the bottom line. It talks a little bit about coaching and team coaching. That's a term that gets overused and abused and misused, in my opinion. But I think the concept of coaching, rather than telling or some other negative types of sharing information, having a coach's heart is important. And it goes, I think, along with the whole idea of empowering and developing other people, helping them to step up, step out, and just grow in place, right? We all want to do that. So 3 really good topics that really do blend together, the 3 of them. And so I'll be looking forward to seeing your comments in the discussions. And please get to the final paper. Start getting yourself familiarized with how that's going to go. Catch my video, and I'll try to talk you through that as best I can. I'm pretty excited to see how that works out for you. You're going to be actually using a true case study of a team that you'll be evaluating based on what we've learned. So good luck with all of that, and have a great week.